Okay, folks, welcome to the Strong for Life podcast. I'm your host, Conor O'Shea, and today I'm joined by my awesome guest, Jeremy. Jeremy has been working with me in my online program for about 2 months, a little over 2 months now. And we were chatting last week on one of our check-in calls, and I was like, I'd love you to come on and just talk about your experience because I think you've gotten some amazing results to date. And I think there's a lot of people out there that will benefit from hearing Jeremy's story. So thank you, Jeremy, for jumping on. I know you're a busy guy. Maybe we'll start with just a bit about yourself so people know who you are and who they're hearing from.
So again, yeah, thanks for having me on. My name is Jeremy from Chicago in the States, born and raised. And I think my fitness journey, my, my latest iteration of my fitness journey really started in towards the tail end of the pandemic. So 2021, I I've always struggled with maintaining what do you call it? A constant workout routine. As I said on a previous call, like I've not known to. I wasn't athletic growing up. I really dreaded the gym. So, but that all changed when I joined this fitness group here in Chicago called November Project or Wake Up. We work at like really stupid early in the morning at 6 a.m. Twice a week, but it's real doing that's really changed my life and it's opened so many doors. I started running again. I ran my first time race ever that same year in 2021. And then last year I ran my first half marathon. And then I ran my second half marathon earlier this year in Barcelona. And at the same time, because of the Instagram algorithm, it's oddly enough, like go, I started I started seeing suggestions in my feed of all of these fitness influencers to follow, and one of them was you, Connor. So and I really liked the content that you put out there. So that's how I really started. I follow you and a handful of others, and your message really resonated with me, especially your journey. I believe you lived in Australia at one time, and your journey from there to getting back to Ireland. As someone that's also lived abroad for a spell of that really really resonated with me. So thank you. But getting back to what I was getting at, I felt like I needed one of the biggest challenges I had was flexibility and mobility, and especially that even though I've run a few really strenuous races, I feel like I'm not, I wasn't, I could do better. I could run faster. I always felt like I hit this wall. And from what I've read, mobility, especially in the hips, plays a big role in running efficiently. And so that's how I started this program. I really wanted to get more mobility in my hips, and since doing the program, I've I've made a lot of improvements. I've gained a lot of flexibility in my hips and in my ankles, two of my biggest problem areas, and I feel like it's still a slow process. I have a lot to work on still, but like I've noticed the changes and getting incrementally faster in my running.
Yeah, man. Just for people to listen as well, how old are you?
I'm 43.
Yeah. Okay. So 43, you got into
Mhm.
the running group in 2021, and that's really kind
Yeah.
of shifted, how you're training. And it's, from talking to you over the last 2, 3 months, like it's a huge
Yeah.
thing. Like it's a big motivator.
Mhm.
But then you came into the program really to improve your mobility and improve your running performance. Is that right?
Yeah. Yes.
What else? Was there anything else going on? It was your lower back, right?
Yes, it was my lower back too. Like it's funny. That was also one of my biggest issues. And now it's just a few months into this program, I've literally forgotten that I've had that problem. And this was bad. Like I had to like just running. just running a few hundred meters, I just my back would be excruciatingly painful, and now it's subsided, not 100%, but like obviously it's subsided to the point where I don't even notice it anymore. But again, thank you. That it's really, yeah, I completely forgot about it.
Jeremy, that's a
But
good sign of your injury being fixed if you can't even remember it.
yeah, yeah, thank you for reminding me. Yeah, that was the biggest thing that I was complaining about on our first
Mhm.
call, is that this lower back pain would go away. Even did physical therapy for it, and that didn't really do anything. And it really took your program to make it subside. And I don't know, thank you for that. Finally, something worked.
Yeah, man.
Um,
Maybe tell people the position you're in, because obviously it's come across like you love your running. That's a huge passion of yours, the competing, but the social outlet as well.
yeah.
What was the back? How was it inhibiting you?
Well, it would it became progressively more painful to keep a constant stride. Like it would get progressively more painful, and I'd had to stop sometime. And there was one time I think it was is that half in Barcelona. I had to stop to stretch my lower back because it was becoming unbearable. So yeah, that now there are other issues that I have to deal with. More or less, it's the stamina. It's other things that I need to work on. But like at least the lower back, I've gotten I've resolved that part. So and
Yeah,
it's really great.
yeah, man. Let's talk about maybe when you were out there looking for different potential options with online coaching. And when we were talking or you were thinking about, having a conversation with me, what were you skeptical about with this kind of online coaching world?
Um, I I wasn't sure how it was gonna work, considering that it would be the first time that I'd had online coaching. Before then, when I did hire a personal trainer, it was always in house or at the gym, or even just a friend. I wasn't sure how this was going to work, but given I've also listened to your podcast, seen the testimonials from other people, and see that people have achieved a lot of results from your program. So I decided to try it out, and I don't regret it.
Awesome,
It
man. Do you want to talk about breakthroughs in the program? If you were to say like one to three things that you're like, "Oh, okay, I can really feel the differences now. Like, what were the breakthroughs that happened?"
we just talked about it. I think the lower back thing, again, I can't get over the fact that I forgot that I had that problem. That's definitely probably the biggest breakthrough. Another one with flex the because I've dealt with mobility issues or lack thereof pretty much all my life. Again, I wasn't the most athletic person growing up, and I have a really bad family history of just this sedentary lifestyle and arthritis and gout, especially, and those things had affected me in my 20s. So the fact that in my 40s I feel a lot more mobile, more a lot more athletic, definitely more athletic than I was in my 30s, is definitely a breakthrough. Um, and see another one,
You were saying about running
just
performance as well, weren't you?
yeah,
Yesterday.
yeah, just the other day, yesterday, I we had this workout where there was a lot of running involved. I had to run from one end of this bicycle path to the other, which was an uphill. And I usually dread these these exercises because I just have no stamina normally. But this was the first time in I don't remember how long where I was able to run. Like it was difficult, but I was able to run without stopping. And I've noticed that that even though it was hard, I was out of breath when I got to the top of the hill. I wasn't in pain. I usually, after runs for years, I would I would have like my ankles would be super sensitive, or something would be hurting, and it was nice that I was able to achieve this short sprint without any pain, without being fully winded that I had to stop to walk. So I think that's definitely a breakthrough, and I think I thank this program for building up the stamina I needed to do that.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. I love this. The lower back is so it's such a funny win because it's like it's just disappeared, like from memory as well.
Mhm,
So
yeah.
that's awesome. It's a really good sign. I think that's like for people listening as well. Like when you have this issue, like I had chronic lower back pain for 4 years, it dominates everything about your psyche. Everything you do, you think is this going to affect my back? And kind of, it was just cool going through this live with you, Jeremy, because it's like when you forget and then you remember how it was such a thing that we were always thinking about, and now it's no longer a thing. It's a really good sign of like the injury not being an issue anymore. So that was just really cool to to see that in live. Also, this the what you noted about the flexibility and actually feeling more flexible in your 40s, not feeling like you're going downhill. I think that's a huge thing for people to realize as well. Sometimes you feel like, oh, there's a family history, I'm not feeling good now in my 30s, my 40s, or my 50s. But as Jeremy has pointed out, like you can improve your situation with training and consistency. And then the
Mhm.
performance as well is cool, just not feeling winded, not having pain in your ankles as well, and being able
Right.
to, I guess, just enjoy your activities more, man. That's what's really coming across from talking to you.
Yeah, for sure. Like I just looking back to even in my 20, I feel like it sounds really trite, but I feel like in a way I'm aging backwards, at least in like the pain part, because I had a lot of chronic pain in my 20s. I'd have gout all the time. I was a lot heavier. I would go to the gym from time to time, but it was never consistent. And there would be times, especially when I would have like acute gout attacks, I would be immobile for sometimes weeks, if not days. And since becoming more active, I have really not had that problem. I haven't had an acute gout attack in, I'd say, 3 years. And yeah, it's kind of crazy to think that, like, I thought this was something that I had to live with. Every 6 months, I'd have like some kind of gout attack. It hasn't happened, and it's just in general, like I said earlier, I haven't. I used to have a lot of sensitivity in my joints, especially in my ankles, and I really don't have that problem anymore. And it's a breath of fresh air knowing that I hopefully I don't have to deal with that as I get older again. But like it's nice, this long streak of no chronic pain.
That's huge, man. And so, like, it's as you said, I like that term, like aging backwards. Is That's great. Like feeling much better than you did in your 20s, and now you're in your 40s. And what impact has this had on you? Like these changes?
Just better quality of life in general. Like I can go on long walks, bike rides. I don't like when I would have that chronic pain, I would end up being stuck at home, and like it would just be like this vicious cycle of like becoming more sedentary because I couldn't move, and it just seems to compound the problem. So like it I wish it didn't take me this long to really appreciate the benefits of being active, of regular exercise. Like I really hated working out as a kid, and well into my 20s. Like it was a lot of like just I don't know. I was bullied as a kid by like the jocks and the more sporty kids. So like that kind of that stayed with me for a long time after that. Like I would dread going to the gym because I would think that everyone would be staring at me. And like it took me a long time to finally get that out of my head. And I think when I finally joined November Project and being with people that in a similar situation where they're just there to work out and building that community, it really got me out of my shell. It got me less self-conscious and like to the point where like not that I don't care that maybe my form is bad, but like I'm not as worried about it. I'm not worried about what people may or may not think of me when I'm working out. So I think I answered your question of how impactful. Yes, this whole journey has been.
That's huge, man. And thank you for sharing that, first of all. Also, I think it would be good for, like, there's probably someone listening or who will be listening that is actually in the position you were in, with the chronic
Mhm,
pain, maybe thinking like things are only going to go downhill and get worse. If you were
mhm.
to give that person like one or two nuggets of advice based on what's worked for you, like what would you be able to share with them?
I would to kind of steal from one of our slogans from November Project. Just show up, and I think I'll even steal from Nike as well, even though they might come after you or us. Just do it. Like you gotta. Only you can show up for you. And I know that whoever's listening who is in the position that oh I don't think I can do this, you're more capable than what you have led yourself to believe. You just gotta flip that switch and just say, like today's the day I'm gonna do this. And it doesn't have to be like I don't think anyone has achieved very few people have achieved like a marathon the day after they thought about going. like, like you got to do it in baby steps, and those baby steps lead to an amazing journey. So just start small today. Maybe it could be as something as like a quick walk around the block or around the neighborhood, something that you really haven't done in a long time or done ever. But it doesn't have to be anything groundbreaking. It just has to be that, and then just build upon that. And I think, and for me, that's how I got to where I am. It was like these little steps in my running journey. I started with 5 Ks, which I thought were impossible at first, but over time, just just keeping at it, you add to that, and then before you know it, you're running 10 Ks, 15 Ks, half marathons. It remains to be seen if I'm going to do a full marathon. I don't know if I like running that much to do that, but but you don't even have to do that. Like if running is not your thing, there's so many other things that you can do. You just have to find what you like. There's biking, there's swimming, there's so many physical activities, tennis, golf, uh, basketball, volleyball. There's a lot of things you can do to keep active and change your current position.
Made. Well said. That's
Yeah.
such good advice, man. And I like what you said there. You're more capable than what you lead yourself to believe is so powerful. And starting small with baby steps, and
Mhm.
then all of a sudden you're moving forward. So in
Mhm.
particular, because you've come from being in chronic pain, and if you jump into a CrossFit class, you're gonna end up worse. But starting with a walk
Right.
is very, very manageable for most people.
For sure.
Awesome, man. Well, look, I'm really happy that you shared everything. Anything else you want to say before we jump off?
I just want to thank you again. I was skeptical at first we- before we started this program together, but I've really gained a lot from it, more than even I expected. And I don't know how to thank you for for this for for getting me to where I am today. And it was just 2 months, and the change, the results have been amazing. So definitely recommend your program to anyone that is looking especially in the mobility and flexibility. You've done more for me than any physical therapist has done for me.
Amazing, man. Really appreciate you jumping on and sharing. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.